DMs of #1 gifters. So I will read your DM, Sister Ivy. Not a problem. I will check that out. If you're watching on TikTok, remember to share the video and, of course, join in and let's make some noise. So over to you, Lady Nantomah. The conversation is about politics. Sorry, it is about
polygamy.
Polygamy. So
politics is coming later.
What is your take? John and I have also been having a very lovely conversation with regards to the editing of scripture, but we're going to leave that and go back to the rudiments of this particular discussion. We'll start with
my camera for a second.
Okay, go ahead. With Judy and Yul Edochie, the conversation is about polygamy. What is your take?
I have a lot of take on this. My mom came from a polygamous home, so my grandparents, my grandfather was a polygamist. So, you know, when people are talking about polygamy, like the way John is talking, you know, it's easier to say it when you're on the outside, but not until you get into it. That's when you will know that you have made a great mistake. I would say that because I remember, you know, my grandparents in the past, like what John was saying, in the past, it is okay or it's normal. Like when somebody gets married, the first wife definitely knows that the husband is going to get a second wife. And I believe it is discussed. I don't know about that. But the process of bringing in the second wife bringing in the second wife, there is a process. Oh, somebody's calling me. Yeah, and the first wife is always aware of it. They always carry her along. You know, she's always part of the preparations. I remember my grandmom then, my mom would tell us of how they brought in the second wife and the role my grandmom played. But even though she was aware of it, and then she helped made the preparations, they still had issues. Because you see, the second wives are always the ones causing problems. Apart from my grandparents, every polygamist that I know of, the problem always comes from the second wife. And the reason why they do that, nobody knows till today. I don't know, maybe some people know, maybe they know. So at the end of the day, the man suffers. So John is saying he's going to marry 2 wives in 1 day or in 1 year. My brother, like that lady said, let this just be a fantasy to you. Don't get into it, because you're saying the time they will be using to check your phone, they will be fighting themselves. That is discord. And if you don't do what you can or try everything you can possible to bring unity in that home, then that home is doomed and the man is going to suffer. Talking about you and the wife's own, everybody's aware of the story. The lady wasn't aware of the man bringing in a second wife. And even the man didn't plan it, because she was a side chick who automatically became a second wife. So for me, that is double mistake. You made a mistake. You were dating somebody and then the person got pregnant. If you ask me if that person was my brother, I would say, sit your wife down and let your wife know about what you did. I believe that woman would support the man and help him bringing up the kid. You get it? But you now taking it a step further and now bringing in a second wife, knowing fully well that you are not a traditional man. Fine, polygamy is accepted in Nigeria, but it has to do with those who are practicing traditions and all that.
Who told you?
But if you're a Christian, yes, in my place where I come from, there are families.
Who told you Edochie is not a traditional man?
I've never seen Yul in a shrine. I've always seen him in a church.
He is a chief.
You are right.
Madam, do you know what it means to be a red cap chief?
Of course I know.
It is.
I know.
It is called a traditional ritual.
Okay. All right. So I'm not aware that he's a chief, but why didn't he tell the wife? Because now you're talking about, you can't just bring a woman. Let me tell you, you know why polygamy now is really causing problem? Because you, the men, you're not practicing it properly. There are ways, there's a process. that you have to go through for you to bring in a second wife. The one of the process is your wife has to be aware and she needs to give you her consent.
No.
I don't know about your place. That is how, John, listen, that is how it is done.
Madam, give me a minute.
Unless if you're a Muslim, then you know it's compulsory.
Madam, excuse. I've had this conversation with someone, and we called two. You know what Igbo people call Ono? You know what Igbo people call Ono?
My mom is Ono. My mom came from Ono. So
a woman cannot be an Ono.
Yeah, that's what we greet. Yes, my mom, they are Ono. That's what I greet my mom till she died.
Okay, but
so her father, that's what she's from.
And Ono is a traditional prime minister.
Yes.
So after the Igwe, it is the Ono. We called
they are
Onos.
King makers. The Onos are the king makers.
And this was their exact statement, that you intimating your first wife is just FYI for her notice only. You don't need her consent. For her notice only, you do not need her consent. This is the cultures and the traditions of the Igbos.
So are you saying it's you? Are you saying you is an Ono? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm telling you that an Ono is a traditional prime minister. So he's a custodian of the customs and traditions of the Igbo people. And they have they clarified on that live.
That's why I gave you an example of my grandfather. My grandfather was an Ono. They are king makers.
So
you understand? But before he got the second wife, I'm telling you the process of the past. The wife has to be aware. And
aware, yes, not consent.
Process.
Aware and consent are two different things.
No, but these days you need consent because tradition things are changing.
No,
the way you got married, the way you got married before is not the same way people are getting married now. Remember,
you don't need consent. All you need is notification.
Okay, fine. Let me go by what you're saying. You don't need consent. But did he tell the wife? Did he tell the wife? And let me tell you, let's forget about marrying second wife and all that. That the priest has explained it in the Bible that it is not a sin. That's different from what we were taught, growing up. They make it look like it's a sin if you get married. And now we're not aware. We now have the knowledge that it is not a sin. But when you're saying these things, because if you look at you and the wife, I don't follow him, but at times in the past, his posts will pop up and I just go through his posts. And he's always talking about how his wife had struggled with him. Because when people are doing this thing, you should think about ladies who are out there that are not married. They will be scared of getting a man who is not well-to-do and then giving the man their all and trying to make things come together for them. Rather, they will just say, okay, let me sit down and let this man go make the money and I'll just go in. Because that's one point, that's one thing that the wife is also being pinned about because she got into this home when there was nothing. And then she helped this man build from scratch. And at the end of the day, the reward she's getting now, it's a second wife. If I'm a single girl and this thing is happening, I wouldn't want to get married to somebody who is struggling. We'll just all sit down and wait to be second wife. Let the first wives go and struggle. Then we will come in and eat. That's what we call obiageli in my place where I come from, right? But that's so when you keep doing it like this, you're not putting a picture out there that is not befitting the society. Taking a second wife, there is a process. You have to do it in a way that the first wife everybody has to be happy. And then you need to try and create peace. I think the lady on the live, she spoke about it. You need to try and create peace for your own good as a man. Let me tell you about my grandfather, because all these things these men are doing, they are doing it now because they are young, they have the energy, they have the money. There is a time that will come that you will need a woman or somebody. Your kids might not be there because just imagine if all the kids are fighting and all that. They'll grow up and then they will just go. But who is going to be by you when you are old? My grandfather had to suffer it when he was old. I grew up in a place called Sapler where polygamy is a thing of the day. I see how the men suffer when they become old. So when you start doing this thing right now, use home, there is no peace. I don't know if he's okay with that.
Madam.
But it will come to a time where he will Your money cannot even
Madam.
help you because
Madam.
we've
Madam,
seen.
can I-
Wait, let me finish, John. Let me finish. It comes to a time you might say, okay, I want to get a house help. Haven't you seen people that house help are dealing with?
Madam, can I ask you a question?
It has to take somebody who really cares
Madam.
and loves you to really take care of you when you
Madam,
are old.
Madam, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
In the West, when I said the West, I mean the United States, Canada, and the UK.
Yeah,
they
the
have
Western
a law against polygamy. They are they are monogamous in nature, right?
Yeah, monogamous to nature, yeah.
Do you realize that the rate of divorce in those countries is higher? I can tell you statistically that out of every 10 marriages, 7 end up in a divorce. So the ones
It's happening like that. It's happening like that right now in Nigeria. Because why?
Madam,
the women.
Madam, I've not finished. So
Go ahead.
those that are marrying one wife are still not happy. So let us try let's go back to the ways of our ancestors, because I think they were happier.
No.
No.
No. The rate. No. That is what you think.
The rate of divorce.
John, let me tell
the
you.
rate of divorce
Every marriage.
was not this high.
Listen, let me tell you, John. Wait,
The
let me correct you on that.
Divorce then
Every marriage looks good on the surface.
Every
marriage, even my grandparents, that my grandmother had to support my grandfather in preparing the wife and all that. He still had problem.
The problem
but
is that
you
on
the outside, on the outside, you may not know it.
Madam, you women should stop being emotional. Embrace polygamy because it has come to stay.
Can you embrace your wife cheating on you? Because now you're talking about things evolving. Can you embrace it?
Madam, I can embrace my wife cheating on me because once I find out, she leaves my house immediately. I marry another wife. Simply.
Oh, why? Why would she leave?
Because she is not allowed by law, tradition to have another husband.
Are you allowed by law to marry a second wife? Now that you are in Nigeria, are you allowed to marry a second wife?
Yes, I am.
And even by tradition, there is a way. That's what I'm saying.
Madam, I am allowed by law to have a second wife.
In which country?
Nigeria.
And there is a way to go about it, right?
There's no way to go about it.
Daddy Freeze, please, can you throw more light on this? In Nigeria, can you just go and marry a second wife like you and Adoche now? Are you saying that the wife cannot take you to court?
According to tradition, according to the legal system, it is not only illegal, it's a crime that carries an 8-year jail sentence.
So what is John saying?
Daddy Freeze.
It is called and actually fuel for
Daddy Freeze. Let me correct that.
That's it.
Let me correct. Madam, calm down. Don't act out of emotions. Let me correct that. Daddy Freeze, how many legal law systems do we have in Nigeria?
We have the Sharia law, we have the customary law, and we have the British court system.
Now, does the customary law permit a man to marry more than one wife, true or false?
Yes.
So the customary law is a law.
The court
no,
it
doesn't stand.
Customary law.
Yes.
Hold on, let me explain this to you.
Listen, John, the customary law is a lower court.
No, it's not a lower court.
There is no
that is a lower court.
The court supersedes.
No. Please, Daddy Freeze. Daddy Freeze. Let me tell you how it works. If you are married under the act, that means you choose the act you want to be married under.
Yes. But Mary was married according to.
Thank you. So if I want to be a polygamist in Nigeria, I will marry under the customary laws.
Is that not what I'm saying?
Let me land.
I said there is a process. There is a process that you can.
You are right. Lady Nantomah is right. You guys are saying the same thing. But
yes, I say there is a process, because if you don't do it in the right way, you will get sued.
Madam, the English law is a contract. So I cannot go into a contract with someone and come out and say, no, I don't want that contract anymore. I will go into that. If I go into that contract in the English law, that means I am saying I am agreeing that I will marry only you. But you cannot. But in the UK and US, whether you want bring customary court or no customary court, even if you do only traditional marriage in Nigeria and come to the US, you are mandated to have only one wife. That is
yes. We are talking about Nigeria. We are talking about you. You is married according to Nigerian court, not according to the customary. He has defaulted.
Have you seen his marriage certificate before?
He has defaulted. The wife said it. If the wife said it, she posted it on her page.
That they were married in court.
She has the right to sue the man, but she just doesn't want to.
Madam, did you see any marriage certificate saying that they were married in court?
I didn't see any marriage, but church, if you're married in church, like I got married in church,
and
my certificate is from the court.
Madam, you don't understand what I'm saying. Did you see any marriage certificate saying that him and the new person were married in court?
No, I think they were married traditionally. I didn't see any certificate.
So he went and married her traditionally. He went to a court, to the legal system that allows him to marry more than one, and married her.
No, but the first wife, John, you are contradicting this whole thing. The first wife wasn't married that way. Because you have to consider the first one before bringing in the second one and go through the right process.
Madam. The court will only indict you if he goes and marries another woman, but according to the act. If he goes and marries another woman according to the act, what I mean according
is that correct? That the phrase, or they have to act on the act of the way you marry the first wife?
No.
If you marry the first wife customarily, the customary court now takes the decision.
Exactly.
But if you marry the first one according to the English law, then you cannot marry another, because if you do
that, you cannot marry another according to the English court.
Yes.
If you go and marry another according to traditional marriage, well, the only thing the court will do is they will not, in the eyes of the court, you're not married. They won't indict you. In the eyes of the court, you are not married.
On this.
I'm not sure, and I don't think that's right.
Ask a lawyer. The only thing is that in the eyes of the court, you're not married, but traditionally you are married.
I'm going to find out about that.
And marry another person under the act.
I'll find out about that. That's a new one. You just but what we're saying concerning this whole thing, I feel for the guy, because right now he's enjoying it. And people are living, they forget about old age. I want to give a story about somebody, there's a man while we're growing up from where I grew up, because that town is a town of polygamy. And this man, and most of these people, they start taking second wives when they start having monies. It's not like they planned it from the beginning. They told their wives that they're going to have second wife. And this very particular man is a very wealthy man in that town. I was the child when he was, married, would look at them like these people are really high profile people. So while old age definitely came, and it came with sickness. So who is now taking care of this man? The first wife. Because these second wives, let me tell you, they are Obiageli. They cannot stand stress. They only came to eat. If you don't know this, no. They only came to eat, because the thing that attracted them to you is your money, your fugu. And they will not be there when you are going through health issues, financial issues, any stress at all. They will quit and look for the next man. Let me give you the story. Let me just finish the story. So this very lady, she's a woman, matured woman. She was with her friends, and I was at my friend's shop. They sell drinks and all that. And her friend was asking her about the man, just encouraging her and telling her that she really tried, because she went through hell. The man had like 2 other wives after her, so 3 wives in total. But she now ends up being the one taking care of the man. And somebody asked her, how is the man now? How come you are doing all this? Because the man was bedridden. It was bad. You know what she said? She said first wives actually married their husband out of love, not out of wealth or anything.
Madam, is a lie.
If
No woman
not for that,
man out of love.
no what?
No woman on earth marries a man out of love.
Ah, John, I pray you find love.
Madam, no woman
women are going to get.
Madam, mark my
Are you
words.
saying
no?
You married a man who had nothing? So why did you marry the man?
Women always marry because they want to get married, and that man is the only available man willing to get married at that point.
And I tell you, I put it to you that you are 100% wrong.
Madam,
you're not a woman, you're a man.
Madam,
you cannot speak for women. You are 100% wrong, John.
Women don't marry.
100% wrong. I'm telling you. That is just what you think, but that is the wrong thoughts. It's not real.
That boy is the truth.
It's not the truth.
Women
you
marry
a man. Okay, let me give you.
Women marry potentials. Either the man is providing some kind of lifestyle they can't afford, or some kind of comfort they can't afford, or women marry.
And that is not true. That is not true. Daddy Freeze, remember on this your live, I spoke about my aunt who is late and her husband. The man had nothing. My aunt from my village, my aunt, the mom had a big farm. You know, in those days, they call you wealthy by the amount of farm you have. So when my aunt married her husband, the man had nothing. But he was living in Lagos, doing nothing. So my grand aunt had to sell some of her farmland to help this man. In Lagos there, they started making soda. I don't know if people know soda. You know soda, right? That local soap.
Wash.
Yes. Because I'm telling you, at the end of the day, John, tell me if my aunt married this man, if it was out of love or not, or he just went there because the man had money.
The man they give her ingredients which they just make the soap.
No, you're not following up in the story. You're not listening. I said my grandparents had to sell farmland.
Make the soap.
Had to sell farmland to give them this money to start making soda. I'm not saying so they got their money from my grand aunt. And they started selling soda in Lagos. You saw those in cage on that bridge. My aunt will put soda on her head and sell them. That's why you see I don't write people off when I see them in Lagos selling things. You understand? So at the end of the day, this man became so wealthy. He has companies right now in Lagos that are still functioning, even though they are late. But at the end of the day, when he now became wealthy, he went for second wife. He now wanted to go for the third wife. The second wife would say no, just like that lady was saying. She was very right. The second wife would not want a third wife. My auntie said the third wife has to come in. Just like you came in, that third wife has to talk. So it became a very big problem. I'm now asking you now, are you saying my aunt married that man because the man is wealthy or she doesn't love the man? You don't say that. We are women. A lot of women marry men out of love. I know some just go for their monies or go for something, but you cannot say no woman marries out of love. That is wrong.
Madam, let's look at it from this perspective. Let's look at it from this perspective. Why is it that most women don't marry their NYC boyfriends or their university boyfriends? They end up dumping them to marry the person who is available to be married at that point in time.
Why is it that they don't marry their NYC boyfriend? Why NYC boyfriend? Why is it that they don't marry their
boyfriend? Is not ready at the point when they are ready to get married. So it's a thing of opportunity. Who is available then?
No.
Men are the only ones. It's only men.
No, that's wrong. Because me, before I married my husband, I had my husband was not the only person that was available.
Madam Biko, let me just.
Say Biko.
It's only that you see a male who is a billionaire go and pick one girl that is doing pharmacy in University of Nigeria, Nsukka, who does not even have money to buy Victoria's Secret on this, and marry her because he loves her. He brings her into the comfort of his empire and let her be part of that empire. If you're saying that women marry for love, why is it that 90% of the women who get married don't marry downwards? They only marry upwards.
90% of the women, they marry upwards.
90% that women get married never marry downwards. When I mean marry downwards, I mean marry below their social class. They only marry above their social class.
Anyway,
I don't think that percentage is right. That's the wrong percentage. 90% is not correct.
Okay.
90% is not correct. I would say 40% marry upward. I'm telling you.
Madam, are you joking?
Yes, John. Yes, John. You listen, you only know your locality, you only know the people in your vicinity, you don't know everybody.
Okay, let's do a survey. Let's do a survey. Call 10 women in this world that you know that married downwards. 10.
I will start from my family. You want to start from my family, and I will give you more than 10.
Adam, you can't. When we are having a conversation, you have to start with people that me and you know. 10.
I don't know a lot of people.
100
Anyways,
that married downwards. I can call 100 that me and you know that married downwards.
What makes you think I know 100 people that you
No,
know?
madam, 100 celebrities within Nigeria they pass 100 now.
You are talking about celebrities. That's the thing, John. You are now bringing this marriage issue to a certain kind of people.
Oh, is this what I said that my work is done on air?
You understand? You are now bringing it to a certain kind of people. You are supposed to generalize it. In general, do women marry upwards or they marry downwards or they marry in between?
I really enjoyed this, but we have another topic that we have to deal with. Thank you so much, Lady Nantomah. Thank you so much, John.
John, your wedding day, I will be there. In fact, you will see. You will see what will happen. You better not hide and get married. I'm coming for you. That's why the second wife will
winners and no losers. It's just perspectives and opinions. And everybody, as long as they're able to back up their points, either with the law or with scripture or with tradition or whatever it is, their points are relevant. So John's points are relevant. Lady Nantomah's points are relevant. It's just for us to learn. I'm sure if you've been watching this for the last 1 hour, 30 minutes that this session is on, you definitely learned something. It is impossible for you to sit and say you didn't learn anything. So I'm going to close this live and come right back. We have a political...
John the Upright.
We have a
John, I'm giving you a name. Sorry. They say you're John the Upright.
John the Upright. Yes, that's his name. We're going to talk about politics for just another 20 or 30 minutes max when we come back. And I'll be sharing my views about Ekweremadu still earning a salary. And you guys are also invited to come and talk about that. Even still earning a salary. Let's talk about that when we come back. Yes?
I think it's not only Ekweremadu, even Joshua Daraye.
Oh, wow. We'll talk about that when we come back. Thank you, Lady Nantomah. Thank you, John.
Thank you so much.
God
Thank
bless
you, John.
you guys.
Bye.
Bye.